This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV. I'm Derek Gilbert with 5 things you need to know for Monday, September 23rd, 2024. Item number 5 today, not surprisingly, Israel. Things got rather kinetic between Israel and Hezbollah over the weekend, with both sides launching missiles, drones. Israel hitting Hezbollah with airstrikes over the weekend aimed at taking out launch facilities. This really ramped up on Saturday when Israel's military said Hezbollah began launching rockets, missiles, other projectiles across the border. More than 300 launched into Israeli territory from Lebanon since Saturday. Some of these missiles reached as far south as Haifa, the Jezreel Valley, the outskirts of Nazareth. Hitting Nazareth would seem to be counterproductive for Hezbollah, since that is the largest Arab city in Israel, but this is what's going on. Both sides threatening to ramp up pressure on the others. Israel has taken out quite a few members of the upper command of Hezbollah. This in addition to really disrupting communications last week with the exploding pagers and exploding walkie-talkies that we told you about. So we'll see what happens. But Hassan Nasrallah, the Hezbollah leader, finding himself increasingly cut off from the rank and file, as the lieutenants that he's been depending on for the past several years have fallen victim to Israeli airstrikes. Speaking of which, there is an unconfirmed report that Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar is dead. This, first reported by Israeli broadcaster Khan, suggests that an IDF airstrike in Gaza took out Sinwar at some point in the recent past, although details about when and where specifically are sketchy. Israeli journalist Ben Caspit quoted sources as saying, quote, "There have also been times in the past when he disappeared and we thought he was dead, but then he reappeared," end quote. You might remember Yahya Sinwar took over as the head of Hamas when Ismail Haniyeh was assassinated in Tehran a couple of months ago. Israeli media reporting that the intelligence community in Israel is split on whether or not Sinwar is dead. Israeli journalist Barak Ravid, who writes for the liberal news site Axios, refutes the claims, saying, writing to X, quote, "Israel does not have any intelligence information indicating that Yahya Sinwar is dead." Quoting a senior official as saying, quote, "These are hopes and guesses that are based only on the fact that Sinwar has been cut off from contact for several weeks," end quote. That in itself is not necessarily a bad thing. It appears that the noose around Sinwar is tightening. Topic number 4, the United Nations. Well, surprise, surprise, the UN has voted against Israel, passing a resolution that demands that Israel withdraw from so-called Palestinian territory within a year. They want Israel to withdraw to the pre-1967 borders. Now, bear in mind, at its narrowest point, the pre-1967 border between Israel and what was then part of Jordan is 9 miles wide. This is what you call, in military terms, indefensible. This is not going to happen. The resolution passed last Wednesday. It's not legally binding, but it is historic in that it's the first time a resolution put forward by the Palestinian Authority, which is a non-functional government of a non-existent state, was taken up by the UN General Assembly for a vote. The U.S. voted against the resolution, so kudos to the Biden administration for that, at least. Others who voted against it, the vote, by the way, 124 in favor of telling Israel to withdraw, 14 against. The 14 nations, the United States, Argentina, Czechia, Fiji, Hungary, Malawi, Micronesia, Nora, Palau, Papua New Guinea, Paraguay, Tonga, Tuvalu, and of course Israel. The rest of the world either voted in favor or abstained. A lot of countries that ought to know better, voted in favor of the resolution, including France and New Zealand. Australia, Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom just abstained. It's not the worst of it. The United Nations, with the support of the United States Department of Justice, is arguing that the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA, which is the main relief agency supported by the UN inside the Gaza Strip, is immune from prosecution or from lawsuits related to last October 7th. This is relevant because a full 10% of UNRWA employees are believed to be affiliated with Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad, and at least 12 UNRWA employees participated directly in the October 7th massacre. 6 were in the wave of terrorists who breached the border fence and went into Israeli territory to kill and kidnap. 2 helped kidnap Israelis, 2 were tracked to sites where scores of Israelis were massacred, and their others coordinated logistics for the attack, including procuring weapons. Attorney Gabby Marin of the law firm Law filed a lawsuit accusing UNRWA of complicity in genocide and crimes against humanity. But in a document filed with the U.S. court, UNRWA, and with a friend of the court brief filed by the U.S. Department of Justice, has claimed that UNRWA, because it's part of the United Nations, has total immunity. United Nations has not waived its diplomatic immunity for its subsidiary UNRWA, and so its employees are thus immune from any sort of legal prosecution for participating in the massacre last October 7th. Good grief. Now, item number 3, who's running the country? I think a relevant question. The Biden administration at the end of last week held its first cabinet meeting in nearly a year. First cabinet meeting in the White House in a year. Nice work if you can get it, President Biden. And guess who sat at the head of the table? That's President Biden at far left. At the head of the table, convening the meeting, is Dr. Jill Biden. Jill spoke to the cabinet about the White House initiative on women's health research. Attendees were given folders of notes whose covers were emblazoned with the signatures of Joe and Jill Biden. And sources inside Congress now say that the lawmakers who get legislation passed and signed by the president are getting their bills, copies of the signed bills, in folders with both Joe and Jill's signatures on it. Remember, Jill is not a member of the cabinet. She's not holding any elected office, but she appears to be running the White House at this point. In fact, after the meeting, Jill hosted a meeting of the cast of the TV series West Wing and showed them around the Oval Office while Joe headed off to Delaware for the weekend. Now, it was a working weekend. President Biden hosted a weekend summit in Wilmington, Delaware, with leaders of the Quad. That's Australia, India, and Japan. But you didn't hear about that in the media because they didn't allow the media to attend. White House press corps not happy about that. But that leads to topic number 2, hiding like Biden. This is an official strategy now for the Harris-Walz campaign. Axios, again, a liberal news site, no friend of Donald Trump. They reported last Thursday that the Harris-Walz ticket is on pace to do fewer interviews than any presidential ticket, fewer press conferences, fewer interviews than any major party's presidential pair in modern U.S. history. They're essentially trying to run out the clock. This is like the old, basketball pre-shot clock tactic of just keeping the ball away from the other team so that you don't have to shoot and give up the ball because you're not very good. So you're trying to keep the other team from getting the ball to score points. Over the last 2 months, according to Axios, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance have participated in more than 70 interviews and press conferences. Harris and Walz have taken part in all of 7. 77. They don't want people to hear from Harris, and then because they don't want to make her look bad, they don't let Walz talk to the press either, which normally he does as governor of Minnesota. Well, she sat down on Thursday night, that is, Kamala Harris did, with Oprah Winfrey from a town hall style talk show format sort of interview, really a softball sort of thing. Didn't really help because Harris was asked twice by members of the audience for specific details, specific plans on how she's going to lower the cost of living and secure the border. And both times her answers were classic Kamala word salad. Every time she tries to answer a question, she comes across like a high school kid who didn't read the assigned homework. Well, let me start with this. I was raised a middle-class kid. That's become almost a joke. In fact, saw a video of last weekend, a football coach asked, why did you call for a running play on 3rd and long? Well, let me start with this. I was raised as a middle-class kid, and the reporters lost it. They thought it was hilarious. As Americans wanting to know how you're going to control the border and lower the cost of living, it's not that funny. In fact, in one question, she was asked about gun ownership, and Kamala said, no, I own a gun. If you break into my house, you're going to get shot. And then she said nervously, my staff will clean that up later. And then later on CNN, they asked about that, and her staff member actually said, no, she doesn't own a firearm. So It's kind of what we suspected. She's saying what she thinks we want to hear specifically to get elected, and this is why they're keeping her away from the press. Coming up, got a great health tip, how you can live longer. Drink lots of coffee. That's next on 5 and 10.
We want to make sure you know how you can get your copy of this incredible new work in the Carl Gallup's Ultra Collection. When you order this amazing collection from the skywatchtvstore.com, you'll receive the brand new book, Eyes to See, Is Our World Ready for the Coming Visitation by the legendary Pastor Carl Gallups, where for the first time ever, you'll discover what the Israel link truly is and the gravitous prophetic significance it holds in the times we're living in right now. You will learn about the real-life supernatural encounter that will open your eyes to see the spiritual realm like never before. Eyes to See will make certain you are spiritually ready for the coming visitation. And it uncovers massive treasures of astonishing insight previously hidden in Scripture and revealed specifically for our day. You'll also receive the amazing books, The Summoning, Preparing for the Coming Days of Noah, and Glimpses of Glory by Pastor Carl Gallups that take you from the Garden of Eden to Jesus' glorious return, and a cosmic collision of biblical truth that explodes to life upon the tapestry of the mind and soul. For a very limited time while supplies last, you'll also receive the Summoning Companion DVD. Join Pastor Carl Gallups for this incredible, exclusive two-part sermon. From living without fear in the midst of our prophetic age, to the questions surrounding what Jesus is telling his people through the prophecy of the fig tree and the return of Israel. This companion DVD is a must-have. These items hold a retail value of $85. Yours now for your donation of only $40, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. So don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special opportunity. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Carl Gallups Ultra Collection.
Item number 1 today, if this isn't true, I really hope it is, because if so, it means I'm going to live a long, long time. Consuming 3 cups of coffee, that's 200 to 300 milligrams of caffeine per day, may help reduce the risk of developing cardiometabolic multimorbidity in individuals without any cardiometabolic disease. Now, what is cardiometabolic disease? Well, it's type 2 diabetes, coronary heart disease, and stroke. How much can this help, really? According to this study, a 48% reduced risk in any new onset of these diseases. And this was not a small study either. According to the authors, they based their findings on data from UK Biobank, a large, detailed, longitudinal dietary study with over 500,000 participants between the ages of 37 and 73. This is what you call a statistically significant sample. I clearly need more coffee this morning. This study excluded individuals who had ambiguous information on their caffeine intake. This is based on people who knew exactly how much they were taking in on a daily basis. The resulting pool of participants included more than 172,000 individuals free of any cardiometabolic diseases at baseline for the analyses of caffeine. So again, 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day. I may just live forever. I say that jokingly. As a Christian, we are going to live forever. Just the big question, if you're not sure, is where will be your final address? And there is a way to answer that question. Accept Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior. This week on Skywatch TV, week number 4 of our discussion with Carl Gallups about his new book, Eyes to See. As with his previous works, there are some just eye-opening, jaw-dropping revelations in the book. You don't want to miss this program or this special offer on Carl's new book. You can watch all of the programs right now, all 4 weeks, at our website, skywatchtv.com. You can also catch it on our broadcast, our over-the-air broadcast schedule posted skywatchtv.com/channels. If you've got Roku or Apple TV, please add the Skywatch TV app to your set-top box, and you can watch all of our video content there, including the new programs, Return to Eden and The Donna Howell Show. You can also catch it over the internet, Skywatch TV at Skywatch Television on YouTube or rumble.com/SkywatchTV. Better yet, get our free mobile app, and this is how you guarantee we never get canceled, because the content is hosted on a Christian company's servers. The company that's developed the app, they also serve up the Roku, Apple TV video feeds as well. All of our content goes there, all their features as well, like a Bible module with multiple translations, an audio Bible no less, calendar of upcoming events, a place to donate if you're so led, and more. In fact, even a link to our streaming video site so you can watch our documentaries like Void Earth. All of that in the palm of your hand, whether it's iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire. And we have links to those app stores at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. Thank you for watching as we keep watch and pray for the peace of Jerusalem. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.